Okay, guys, what I'm doing is a little lesson on Venus and how that applies to us in when it goes retrograde. And this chart that I'm showing you is Wednesday, the 13th of May, 2020, and that's at 19:45 time-wise GMT. That's in London. And what I wanted to show you was the where Venus will be. It will go 21 degrees. It'll just go retrograde there. Can you see the little R? If you can see that, I'm going to show you something. If I go 1 minute back, there you go, and you see the R, little R disappears. And so the minute that it goes retrograde is going to be 19:45 GMT. So if you're in New York, for instance, that will be 5 hours behind that time. And if you're in California, it's 8 hours behind that time. So you can check out the times that's happening. Not that the exact time is needed, but overall, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what that will mean, and as a more of a lesson than a 1945 on the 13th of May 2020. So what we've got is the important thing with retrogrades. I will point out that first of all, we have Pluto go retrograde just recently, and on May the 11th, Saturn is going to go retrograde. So Saturn is about, it's to do with structure, it's to do with patriarchy, it's to do with time, it's to do with, so basically our time on Earth. And Saturn has rings around it, if you can sort of get the picture that it's where we're bound. It's like the body, it's the ruler of Capricorn, teeth, bones, structure. And then on May 13th, Venus goes retrograde, and then on Jupiter goes retrograde on May the 14th. So we're going to have a really busy, interesting time ahead of us. I'm going to also look at today's chart as well. I'll run back with this chart, but let's talk a little bit about Venus going retrograde and just some ideas, and you can have a think what it means for you. And it will depend on the house it falls in for you. So for me, it's fallen in my 7th house, because my 7th house is Gemini, because I've got a Scorpio rising myself. So retrogrades are where we rewind, review, release, re-experience, re-evaluate, withdraw, and go inward, and we become the witness and the observer. So it's inner work that's going on. And Venus retrograde is it's intimacy with self, and it's to do with especially the inner side of Venus, to reconnect with ourselves through extension of spirit. It's a time where our soul is getting in touch with what holds the most meaning and value. So we're going to be looking at what our values are and what holds meaning to us. It's a time to reflect about whether we are getting our essential needs met, our inner side of Venus, and because Venus rules Taurus and it also rules Libra. But in this case, we're looking at the inner side. And it's a time when our soul is in the process of making changes to support our new values. So clearly we can see what's going on in society right now. We're going to be coming up with a lot of new values, because what was important pre this, the social distancing and lockdown, it's like things are not the same now. Even if we get back to some sort of normality in the future, we're going to see things that we valued. Our values are completely being changed, which is a good thing, During this transit, it's about deep conversations with others, meeting with friends also, because it's in Gemini. So we can be meeting friends on, Zoom as well, even though we might be doing that inwards, or online, not just Zoom. It's about relationships, siblings, neighbors, colleagues. It's about communication, and communication that we enjoy, but also the inner communication with ourselves in this retrograde period, because this will move back from 21 degrees on the 13th and to 5 degrees. It will go all the way back to 5 degrees. And it's about, conflicts and resolving them and talking about our problems, and also maybe having conversations inwardly with ourselves on our inner needs. So the next thing I'm going to read is just a little understanding of what the sign of Gemini is, so that you can have a bit more information there. So Geminis are inquisitive and curious. It's about communication, intellect, opinions, and our inner opinions as well, and maybe voicing those. And it's about facts and information. It's about changeability, because Gemini is a air sign, but it's also the twin. So it's like, the difference between duality. We got siblings, we got immediacy, and trickster and cleverness and ideas. So the trickster part and the cleverness, it's like liar, lies, and thievery. Ideas, it's living in thoughts, and the basically inability to manifest as well if we're just too stuck in our ideas. Immediacy, it's about goallessness, and it's about drifting. So maybe we'll be drifting inside, and sorting out our values. And we've got, because it's in Gemini, and siblings, we've got causing current feelings of, it can be the loss of siblings also, or not loss, but like where we feel like we're left out maybe, and we need people as well, like our inner values maybe during that time will be part of us looking at our friendships as well, because again, that's needs. And also the way Venus is about the way we listen to ourselves inwardly, the inner voice, how we talk to ourselves. So definitely the communication, we've got the Mercury is the messenger, and because of that, it's also an ability to do with our way we talk to each other. So there you go. I think I made sense there. So I'm going to come back to now. I'm going to go, it's got 1 minute there. So I'm going to change this to one day, and I'm going to go back. It says May the 13th. Let's go back by a week. And we're going to go back to May 6th. And we're going to go back one more day, May 5th. And this is where we're at today. And this is the current chart, and you can see that we've got down here 24, we've got Pluto at 24 degrees retrograde. And as I said, that Jupiter and Saturn are going to then go retrograde. So they're all going to move back into Capricorn, and they're all going to conjunct again. So it's going to be an interesting rest of the year. We've also got currently Mars is at 24 degrees Aquarius. We've got Neptune at 20 degrees Pisces, and we've got conjunction of Lilith, which is the inner wild rage in us, not always bad, conjunct Chiron, which is the wounded healer, because there is some rage going around right now with what's going on. We're evolving something deeply, and it's in Aries, so it's about, it's quite fiery, it's me first. And also then we've got Uranus in Taurus, which is to do with our money, breaking free of limitations. And because Taurus is to do again with our needs. And we've got the Sun in Taurus, and we've got Mercury also in Taurus as well. So we're thinking a lot about our needs at the moment, I would say, as well. So that is it for today. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll be back with more probably tomorrow or the day after. Thanks for watching.